All right. It's out of my pocket. It's a little better. So I'm jumping right in tonight. I made, let's see here, where's the camera? I made this yesterday. Snake for CircuitPython. We're on a PyGamer here, but it should work on a Pi badge or an Edge badge, or I guess those are the two. It should work on that kind of form factor. It could probably be tweaked a little bit to work on other devices as well, like a Pew Pew M4 or other devices with a screen and a couple of buttons. You could probably port this to work on them pretty easily. And so I may play with that a little bit. There's a couple more things I still want to kind of do to it, but really the main thing that I want to do first is be able to launch the Snake game from another program, specifically this program, which is like a conference badge. It's under examples, but it's like a conference badge program, right? You can do like a "Hello, my name is" looking badge, and you can put your name, and then it's got a couple other things you can do, like a custom image instead of the "Hello, my name is." I think it does like a QR code you can embed into it if you want. I think we want just, let's see, simple test? Maybe it's just under simple test. Business card, QR code, badge. Yeah, I think this is where we want to start. So right now I have CodePy is the Snake game. I'm going to rename it. I'm going to copy paste it. Snake game. Oh, let me, it's out of the way. Okay. This is not coming through, right? The sound? Okay, yeah. Gotta make sure the desktop's not playing as it's running. Also, it's coming out of the speaker, so it's getting cut off by the noise gate. Directional mic. So now we have Snake game, so we want to put inside of here the thing that we copied from here, which is badge. I don't know, do I have the image? I don't know, we'll see. Let's see if it runs. So there's one mode, and then I think you press these maybe? Yeah, there we go. So blink a, custom picture in the background there. You can put another name, you can put an email address or a website or whatever you want. I think this also does like the screen gets brighter, and then after a few seconds it gets darker, something like that. I don't know, I thought I saw it get darker. Maybe I didn't trip it enough. And then I think one of these, yeah, QR code. So you can set the text for that to be whatever you want, right? So it's meant to be like a, wear it around a conference. And I think, I don't know, start? Yeah, there we go. Gets back to this one. So really what I want, I guess, is like, we could just use the select button. There's another button right here. We could just use the select button. And I mean, you could set this up differently as well. You could set it up for like A and B, or, B and start, or whatever. You could do some kind of combinations like that if you wanted. I think in the simplest version, I'm just going to use select, though. We're going to listen for the select button. Let's select. And now we're not going to do show this thing. We're not going to do anything like this. We're going to instead use supervisor docs. Well, we're going to look at the supervisor docs. We're going to call supervisor dot something. Set next file or something like that. Run set next run file. I don't know the name of the function. I've never actually used it, so that's kind of the set next code file. Set next code file supervisor. So we're going to call this from here. We're going to try to start the Snake game from this when we press select. Supervisor dot set next code file. Set next code file. What do we need to pass it? Actually, this probably tells me too, right? No? Well, maybe once we import. No, it's not gonna find it. Well, maybe it's gonna find it. Did find it. File name. So definitely the file name we know. I don't know if it wants to be root or what. Maybe it doesn't matter. Code, what was it? Snake game? Yep, that's the one. What else? I think one of these will make it restart right away. Reload on success. Reload on error. Sticky on success. Sticky on error. Sticky on reload. Reload on success. Insert it at the front. I guess we could also just run, I think there's a reset. A different function we can call? Reset function? Microcontroller maybe, or browser? Determine whether the newly set file name option stays in effect. Okay, no, we don't want that. Basically, I want to start it once only, and then the next time it resets, it should just go back to CircuitPy. Sticky on success. Defaults to false. What would be sticky on error? Oh, okay. Interesting. The program goes all the way till completion. The program exits early from an exception. Interesting. On reload. Take effect when the program is interrupted by... Oh, okay, yeah. Interesting. I didn't know you had that much fine-grained control. None of these do actually reset it right away, so we need to do that also. I think I want all this stuff false, though, right? I want it to come back just to CircuitPy. After we do this once, launch the other thing, the snake game, then we're just coming back to CircuitPy if we reset again. Or if anything happens, if we... Let me think about that, actually. If we raise an exception... Yeah, we'll leave it default. We may change the exception one, actually. Or we may change it inside the snake game. Well, it doesn't raise... It raises and then it catches an exception. Anyway, we'll see what it does. Yeah, this should work, right? We can use this to actually run it now. So if we press select, set the next code file, reset. Well, supervisor reload. Like this still goes to QR code. Or no, this one went to here. This one's QR code, this one's this one. Select. Nice, okay. So we play till the end of the game, so I'm just gonna lose right away. Okay, so I think what we want actually is... We want to go back after the game is over, but I guess we could give them a few seconds. So right now the way this works though, it's like in a loop. Here's where we go once the game is over. Break. And we'll go out of while. What happens after that? Okay, we did go back to this. Quickest way to lose is get to 2 squares. Oh. Nope. then just double back on yourself. You just get code done running. Okay, here's what we'll do, actually. What we'll do. We'll go... We won't do this. If... We already have this, if not game over, so else the game is not... No, else the game is over. Game is over. We... just check for one of the buttons, like... Doesn't really matter which button. The start button was pressed. Then go back to code. Or really we just reset, right? Supervisor dot reload. It's not... Once I import it, it knows what it is. It doesn't offer to import it for me. Weird. So the screen is wrong now. Well, it's not wrong, I guess. Well, it is kind of wrong, actually, because if you press reset, you're going to go back to the badge. But if we press... What did I do? Start? That doesn't do anything. Let's see. Okay, let's try some of this. Print start after I'm over. Oop. I'm gonna press start. Don't see anything. So this would get spammed, I think. Good. After we finish the game. Should make this faster. Okay, that does get spammed. But why does the start button not do anything? Not updating the buttons? Oh. Okay, we need to do this later. We need to do this after this. Otherwise the button just bounces itself automatically. Okay. Okay, spams that. Start button. Back to this. Select button. Back to this. Oh yeah, that's what we want. Alright, so let's turn off game over spam. We don't need that. Really, we don't need this either. We can change this to be real. So game over score, press start to go back to badge. To go back to CircuitPy. Go. Let's say press start for CircuitPy. Which is more concise, but hopefully conveys the same thing. Press start for CircuitPy. Boom. Okay. Which works for resetting this by itself as well, I think, right? If this was named CircuitPy instead of CodeSnake, pressing start would let you start the next game, because it would call supervisor.reload, which would rerun itself, which is also a nice mechanism. Although in that case, I will say it's less clear that that's going to happen, maybe. You could deduce it if you kind of know what's going on, but it is less kind of to the point in that case, I will say. But really with the badge, the main thing I wanted to cover, and that does work. It seems to work pretty good. Yeah. Let me read something real quick. Select instead. Start is in use. Okay, I think this should be fine. So I'm gonna take a copy of this. I'm gonna put this over here. I'm gonna call this code badge. I'm gonna add it. I'm gonna call this code snake game. Add it. Delete this one. Oh, actually we're gonna update it though. We're gonna update it from here. Just copied that first. Push here. Okay, so this was a quest from Katney, who's at PyCon currently. So she's using a badge thing, I think like this, but with more stuff built into it, LED animations and some other stuff. But wanted to be able to show people Pong as well. Not Pong, Snake, the game we made. She was asking if, kind of like if we had a snake, or how hard it would be to make a snake. So I gave it a try yesterday, and it turns out we were able to do it pretty quickly using tile grid and stuff. I'll go through the game code at some point. I don't know if I'll do it this stream, but at some point I'll break down the code as well. If anybody happens to be watching and has questions or is interested in the code, though, I can pull it up and talk about it a bit. So let's see. Oh, nice. Okay. So starting with Kattni, the updated code. I think sprints are tomorrow and Tuesday. Out at PyCon, the main conference is over, like the talks and stuff, but the sprints are still the next couple of days where folks can work on open source projects. So she'll still be there for a bit, hanging out with folks working on stuff. Let's play with the snake a little bit, actually. I think this is not exactly coding, but I'm interested in tweaking the snake a bit. So this is the sprite sheet for snake. Not a lot to it. The green gets used for transparent. The white blocks get used for the snake. And the red block is the apple that you eat to grow the snake. What I want to do, though, is change the white blocks, actually. Thought these were 8x8. Or 8x8. And just size 4 of that thing is not 4 pixels. I want to try to use Blinka colors. Pink. And a little bit of turquoise. Probably someplace where these colors are actually documented, but we're gonna go purple, purple, pink, turquoise. Obviously, that's not gonna look exactly like Blinka. We have really small artwork too, though, right? This is an 8x8 square, and we're not gonna have any kind of like special logic to make the horizontal sections look different than the vertical sections, but this will give it a nice like repeating pattern that includes all the right colors. Real question is, do we want pink on the top right or the bottom left? I guess we go top right. Was yeah. So now we go back to mode, indexed. Make sure green is still 0 in our palette because green is what will get made transparent. Well, 0 is what will get made transparent, and we want it to be green, so. Ooh. Okay, I think maybe deselect. I want to rearrange the palette. I don't want to change the image. We go save as this. What? Oh, export. Yeah, I like that effect. That's a cool effect. Yeah, that's cool. Let me make this faster. I do have pause built in with start. Upload this actually. I'll leave the one in the repo. I think it's at 0.5 seconds. It moves every 0.5 seconds. I'm gonna try taking it down a touch though and see if that's too fast or... No, that's still pretty fun. I think I like it better actually. Oh, I think I doubled on myself. Maybe I'll make it a little more forgiving to double back on yourself. Maybe that doesn't have to kill you, but it just won't turn. I think I have played games where that makes you lose though, if you double back onto yourself. I guess, yeah, I didn't feel like I did it that time. Why don't we make it more forgiving? So what if we said, yeah, no, I want to go inside there. Property. What is... I think these are actually numbers, right? So this should probably just be this. Basically, if we are going down, then we can't turn upward. That's going to stop us from doubling back on ourselves, which will stop us from getting a game over. JetBrains followed me. Like the JetBrains? That'd be pretty cool. Thanks for the follow, whoever you are. If you are also the JetBrains, then thank you for PyCharm, because I like PyCharm. If we aren't going up, then we're allowed to go down. Basically going to do the same thing here. For right, we need to just not have caps lock on to make it easier, and then I hold shift and defeat the whole purpose. Oh, I did it again, even after I said it. And oh, no, these are right. Okay. And we can't double back on ourselves, I don't think. Well, okay. Doubling back never killed you on one anyway, though. Oh, I still somehow did it. Interesting. Maybe we could make that any key at the end there instead of start. Okay, no, you don't die if you double back now. So, okay, I think I rolled it. I gave it like up and turn one of these numbers. Of course, we follow Python running a game on M1 hardware and everything with PyCharm. Roland, thanks a lot for showing our products on your stream. It's highly appreciated. That's awesome. Yeah, thank you. I definitely like PyCharm. I use it for like web development and stuff too, which is kind of weird. I just got used to using it for everything. So anyway, that's really cool. Thanks for the follow and the IDE. I need to update. Maybe I should close this, right? You probably want me to update. I don't even know. I'm on like, I don't know. I haven't updated in a minute. 2020-2 or .2. Sorry about that. That's funny. I probably will update now. Oh man. So I think I rolled it and that made us move around, but for web dev, there's Webstorm. Yes, there is Webstorm. I don't have a license for it. I've been eyeballing the package one, right? There's a package one with all of them. If I had the package one, I might use Webstorm for web stuff. The truth is most of the web stuff I do is inside of Django projects, and so I do use PyCharm for that. And because I just got familiar with using PyCharm inside Django projects for web stuff, I also occasionally work on pure web, like just HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and I just use PyCharm for that as well. Webstorm probably works better, but I do not have it. I may get the bundle too, because I've also played with Sea Lion and the Java one, IntelliJ. So I worked on Minecraft plugins with Java for a little bit, and the CircuitPython core. So what we're working on here is CircuitPython running on this device. The CircuitPython core is written in C. So I use Sea Lion for that a bit. But in the end, I end up back in PyCharm because it does most of what I want to do for those things. So I think we can just add a timeout, right? If we can't roll, this would probably be less of an issue on the Pi badge because it actually has 4 buttons instead of a joystick. But we give you a free license for the whole Ultimate Bundle with all products. That would be awesome. Yeah, if you wanted to do that, that would be amazing. I definitely appreciate that. If you need like a way to, I don't know if you need a way to email me, or you can send it through Twitch or some kind of link or something, but yeah, let me know and that would be amazing. I will say too, Android Studio. Honestly, Android Studio is how you actually got me hooked. I don't do a whole lot of work as much these days on Android specifically, but when JetBrains took over Android Studio, or not took over, but like when it became kind of like your IDE after the Eclipse days. That was the first experience I had with JetBrains IDEs, and it definitely hooked me. You whisper us your email address. Nice. Yeah, let me know if that didn't come through. Honestly, I don't know that I've ever whispered through Twitch before. Seemed like it was pretty straightforward though. Let's see. I have some videos that show people how to use this for CircuitPython as well. So like I'm always talking people into it. A lot of our audience with CircuitPython is like really beginners, and so like it would probably overwhelm them. There's a much more basic IDE for folks that are like not really programmers at all, but still can play around with this stuff. But for anybody who's involved in like the development of the libraries and stuff, I always point them towards PyCharm. I have a nice workflow set up with this. So with the D-pad, it wouldn't do this because you wouldn't really be able to click the buttons that fast. The joystick makes it so you can really change super fast. So we could either add like real debouncing, or we could just use like a little bit of sleep maybe. Or do we just add real debouncing? I think let's add an actual debounce on the buttons. Let's see. Okay. So let's just do like last button time. Which it's gonna start on just none. And then button cooldown. Good button cooldown. Let's start with 1/10 of a second and see what that does. Basically here we can, oh, but this is still gonna check each time? Is these will kind of like cascade down. Could add a check to each one, but that doesn't feel very good. We can return or something? Continue? Is that continue will like go to the next one in the loop? Don't really use continue that much. Yeah, that's what we want. Skip the rest of the loop, basically. Which, skip all of this stuff. Oh, and skip this, actually. Probably don't want that. Probably do still want this to run. But we could add it again. That's fine, I think. So if last press, last button time, plus cooldown. is greater than, no, less than, or equal to now. Put all this stuff in. Continue, but then we'll also just do this. Or okay. So after we press a button, oh, we need to set the last time also. Last time equals now. When we press a button, set the last time. Next time around, wait for the cooldown to pass, and if it hasn't, then just... Maybe we don't want to update this. Do we want to update this? I'm not sure. Basically skip back to the beginning, though. So once this time has elapsed, it'll be allowed to go in here, and it won't hit continue. It will still do all of this stuff. That's what we want. Oh, nope. Can't add none to a float. Why not? Just be 0. I almost just refresh the page to make the code run. That's not how this works. Oh, I don't have arrows now. Yeah, I don't think that logic is right. It would start on 0. Start on 0 plus 0.1. Which does mean we can't press any buttons. After that, we should be able to, right? Oh. No, because now is still counting up. We don't need to do this. Now is keeps counting up. I don't know how now behaves actually with supervisor.reload. But it's higher. It's not starting on, well, it's not guaranteed to be starting on 0. Only from cold boot, it would be on 0. Maybe a reset too, I don't know. But from a code save, probably not. Okay, yeah, we're on like 3,000. Okay, so that's gonna take a while. Or, well, no, because well, it should be less, right? Print allowed button press. We get one of these? Well, it's gonna be spamming too fast, probably. Oh. Well, right. We do get inside of here. Okay, we only want to update this if there was a press. We're like continually putting ourselves on cooldown even when we don't press the button. That's the problem. This needs to be actually inside of here. Each one of these. And so I think this rolly thing, yeah. Is way more likely to actually make you turn how you might expect it to work, although it doesn't go all the time. Okay. If you don't start with the direction you're already going, you can get a pretty good roll action on it. Oh, okay, let's take that spam out. That's nicer. Now the roll action makes it way less likely that you double back on yourself. And actually makes it way easier to like U-turn. Oh, I still did it somehow. I mean, I was trying to, so I'm not sure it's worth tweaking further. We could change the cooldown and it would make it harder. But if I am sitting here trying to do it, most people aren't going to be intending to trip that. Oh, there we go. Count. Maybe you can filter out the button presses and filter out the button presses that go in the same direction you're already moving. Oh, that's true. Yeah, we could do that. And then we would, then it wouldn't like interrupt your roll. That's a good idea. Nice. Check. Whoop. Messages. Yeah. I got it. That's amazing. Thank you so much for that. I will, I'll get the rest of them installed. That's really cool. I appreciate the follow and the license. That's really cool. Thank you. So basically we have the same already, like so we could basically, well, what we could actually do is put this inside of these and then add another condition to each of these. If it's not down and it's not up. It's not down and it's not up, then we're allowed to go up. This one would be down. Space. Do it at the very start of your function and ignore it. Ignore everything that follows it. Oh, instead of adding it to each one, yeah, I could do that. I do like that better. I like how we had and you basically skip the rest of them. Well, we don't know which. Let's see, we don't know which one is pressed until we get to these actually. So we could always check the direction we're going. What we could do though is change the way this works a little bit to where we can have like, instead of 4 booleans, basically right now we have 4 booleans, up, down, left, right. We do. We could map those somehow to different, so a single value, a string, or a number or something. Have the directions in the snake. I will put them back for now, actually. I could look it up at the beginning, but it would need... We would basically end up reading the... With another if statement, I think, reading all of these again. Copy of these 4. Oh, I put this one in the wrong spot. If we put this thing, curve buttons comes from here. This is a buttons. I think it's a named tuple. Yeah, named tuple. Then we don't activate the cooldown unless we actually move. Good. And we don't move if the user put us in the same direction they were already going. So we don't get the count. We don't get the cooldown in that case, and we don't... It won't actually move. I think the camera skips frames there. Oop. Oh, I still did it somehow. I was trying to, though. I feel like I've just gotten too good at actually making that. Which, and the whole point is don't run into yourself. So if you do, like, curl it like that, you're gonna lose. It's way harder to do on accident, though. I haven't done it on accident since I added the cooldown. If we could make a blink ahead that would look good from all 4 directions. Let's update this one. All the logic. Oh, I changed the time too. Let's put that back. This worked pretty well, actually. Happy with the way we can go back and forth between the badge, and the game. This was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. This is super cool. This supervisor. This on next. Set next code file. Super cool. It's relatively recent too. It's only a few months old, maybe? That's my sense of it. It's gonna be closed. September. Okay, it's up there. 6 months, I guess. Fill in hug reports for this. Had other hug reports too. I think JetBrains deserves a hug report now. Let's go. Discord. My other hub reports this week I had, okay, hold on actually, so it's SK. Yeah. This is time. Oh, let's go. Oh. Okay, we'll throw that in the background and see if I think of the other one. During deep dive? On tab. Probably get back to tab layout stuff tomorrow. Although it will depend a little bit on the sprints at PyCon. People are trying to work on typing stuff. I'll be helping with that. What else do we want to do tonight? I feel like this actually was pretty easy. I was kind of expecting this to be more difficult. And it really was just 3 more lines basically for this reset. Reload on this side instead of wait for the reset button. Game on this one with set next. Should maybe add this to well, maybe what we do is put another example up further, not example, another variable for like other script to launch, and then if it's set, we do this one. That way people can easily show their own work. Why is the PyBadger library not indexed by PyCharm? Do you have, probably not. I'm bad about virtual environments, honestly. Even though it is what everyone says not to do, I tend to just install stuff into my main install. I use environments for some things when I have to, but I usually just install stuff direct. And I think actually the specific reason on that one is that PyBadger is not intended to be used on PCs, and I think it's not on PyPy. Yeah. could still install it somehow. I mean, I could copy paste it to site packages, and then it would probably know about it. Oh, actually, we should take this out. We have talked about it in the weekly meeting. So like all of this stuff is CircuitPython. This is a CircuitPython library. We have a weekly meeting that we hold on Discord every week on the Adafruit Discord. We have talked about before distributing some of these libraries that are not currently on PyPy. Either distributing the library on PyPy anyway for the purposes of this, basically being able to get it inside the IDE, or if not the full library, at least a stubs copy of it. We definitely should not have instructions to install it though, because this will not, this work. I don't think this will work. Definitely won't work in there. Interesting. It does work. Where does it come from though? Maybe it might. That is weird. Maybe it got deployed. That is weird. 322. 364. It's not up to date. Maybe it got released accidentally at one point? So bright. Dark mode. I usually don't stream this late at night, so the white screens don't bother me as much. I don't think this would have been intentionally, well, maybe if it was intentionally released this way, it was later changed. And look at setup py. History. CircuitPython itself is C code underneath a Python binding. That's true, the CircuitPython core. So this project, GitHub Adafruit CircuitPython. This is the C code that interprets Python. So the Python is written as text and saved on the microcontroller and then interpreted and executed by this C code. PyBadger itself, though, is a Python layer library. So PyBadger itself is written in Python and not C. But it makes use of that CircuitPython C core module. And CircuitPython itself is a fork of MicroPython. So that was kind of like the first Python on microcontroller effort. And CircuitPython is a fork of that works a little bit differently with regards to running your code. Like it shows up as a thumb drive and lets you save CodePy, which is really, really nice. Change, modify, and rename setupy. Is there a way to see? I mean, this must have come from a PR? Okay, this must be what I was remembering. It was, I guess it started out on PyPy because the cookie cutter sets that up, but it was decided to remove it because it is really meant, it's like, essentially it's like a hardware driver for this device. Well, this is one of the devices, which you can't really actually see very much in here. This is what device it's on. And there's actually a couple others that are similar. And this only runs CircuitPython, so it doesn't have access to PyPy. So you do have to manually copy it over to this, where there's a tool to do it, a couple other things. Makes sense, at least the Python package available for installation, even though you can't execute it. You have code completion, documentation, lookup. Yeah. Type checking, we're in the process right now. We are making our way through all the libraries to add types. They did not initially have types, but we are on it. I think we just crossed under the 200 library line. There's about 350 libraries, and I think we just recently got under 200 of them are still waiting their type annotations, so we do have that stuff. And I do think we should probably go back to deploying it on PyPy. We even talked about it, actually, on the ones that were like this. There's only a few of the libraries that are not, and all of them are basically aimed at specific hardware. In this case, the PyGamer and the PyBadge also, which is basically a very similar type of hardware. Those ones got removed because basically, like, it's all targeted at beginners, and some of them would see, which it doesn't help if we don't take this out of the README, but some of them would see in the README or somewhere, they would see that instruction like pip install like this, and they would think that this is what they need to do to get it onto their device. But that's not actually the case, even though it says here like Linux and Raspberry Pi. Sometimes folks just see stuff and do it. Yeah, the type checking has been a nice help. It's kind of my introduction to type annotations, truthfully, was through all of this. I made, back in October, actually, coincidentally, I'm wearing my Hacktoberfest shirt today, but back in October for Hacktoberfest, I made some automation scripts that went through all of our libraries and made an issue. Let's see, is the issue done for this one? Yeah, it looks like actually it was done for this one. Yeah. I made scripts that went through all the libraries and made an issue like this and put a checkbox of all the initial places where we wanted to add. We haven't added it to CI yet because we want to knock out more of the actual ones so that everything doesn't just instantly start failing. But that's when we started, was October. Typing. It is interesting that it did used to be here, and honestly, it's probably, I don't know what all has changed since 3.2.2. Probably not enough to matter in this program, truthfully. This probably teaches it a lot more about, yeah. Honestly, the newer stuff is probably just different devices we're not using, because PyGamer was one of the originals. I wonder Circup can install it locally. I guess this doesn't have, I don't know if it has much help on installation. Have all these things. Path. We could maybe cheat, because this will know how to get it without PyPy. Be weird to point it to this directory. I guess it's gonna try to put it inside lib, maybe. See what it actually. That dash path directory dot. Path newer? Or path probably comes first. Blender is in a similar situation. They expose a large Python interface that's mostly created in C++ layer. For Blender, there are several published stub packages that only export definitions and documentation. You can run your code only with real Blender, but it helps tremendously during development. We do have a couple. Well, the core we have stubbed out, which actually that's good to know about Blender. I didn't know that. I knew you could script Blender, but I didn't know that was the way it worked. When we were working on the core stubs, I was trying to find another project that was like written in C or written in something other than Python that had stubs published for it. Because I found lots of examples of Python libraries that also had stubs published. But like we're in kind of a different scenario with CircuitPython because we don't, like, itself is not Python, so it doesn't go to PyPy. We're looking into how to package it. I may take a look at what they did on Blender. We do have our stubs packaged and they get uploaded to PyPy every time there's a release, I think. I'll have to check into Blender though. Actually, I'm always interested in other projects that are kind of in that same vein of like, they allow you to write Python code, but it's not really a Python project per se. So I think just path probably we need to do first. No. Oh, it wants a boot out. Okay, we could fake it with that, but this is a lot of stuff to do. Make it work like that. I think we should probably just go back to adding it to PyPy. And then just make a stern warning that it's not how you get it on the microcontroller. Nothing else though. If we don't change that, we absolutely should get rid of this stuff or change it because it's not really intended to work. The only reason it still works is because PyPy kept the old version from before we made this change. Back to doing it though. I will mention it in the meeting. It's the one I used recently. Used with Blender and worked quite nice. BB wipe module. Nice, I'll take a look. Blender Python API. Put this in the other browser with all the rest of my stuff. But yeah, we meet every Monday. I'm looking really red in that thing, huh? We meet every Monday to kind of talk about all the stuff that's going on. So I'll mention that this week when we meet, which is tomorrow, right? Today's Sunday? Yeah. I'll bring that one up. There's a couple others that are like this because they're specific to the microcontroller hardware. There aren't very many, honestly. The vast majority of the libraries are on PyPy, and I do install them in my local PC Python in order to get the help. I will put it back though. Played with this, but we can put it back through pip and get the old version. much will cover everything we're doing, I think. None of the API changed since then, I'm pretty sure. Skipping? Oh. All right. We updated Snake Game, I think, right? Just heads up, PyCharm has size limits for the files it indexes. So for this particular package, the limit might need to be increased because one of their stub files is over 3 megs large. Keep that in mind. Oh, okay. Size limits on the files it indexes. For this particular package, the Blender package? Or one of the things that I pulled up? It's quite a lot of text. I don't know how, I guess if you put it all in one file though, it could be a lot. I guess Blender does a lot of things. Talking about, look real fast at how they package. Oh, okay. They use Y file. Unless this is something that generates it. On our stubs, on the core stubs, I should say, we ended up with PYI files. The fake Blender. Okay. I'll keep that in mind though. 3 megs. If I start seeing issues on huge files, that's good to know. I think we may be calling it a night. Let's see. Okay. Forget anything back yet. Cadney, really making this be able to bounce back and forth was the main thing I was interested in tonight, and that turned out pretty easily. And I also ended up tweaking the snake. Anything else I want to do real fast on snake? Play it again for inspiration. Definitely like the new Blinka skin on the snake there. Maybe we could look into the walls. I don't know what the walls do besides snake. There's like, it even has a snake. Arrow buttons. Arrow buttons are actually kind of use WDAS. I'm seeing at the wall. Bonk, okay. So we could do that. You wanna go? No. Okay, they do not let you double back on yourself. They also start bigger. Start bigger. We start at 1. I think that we can start bigger though. No. Be kind of hard to call. Well, we could make it bigger, I guess. Actually, I ended up with grow and then I ended up not using it. I guess we could call grow a couple of times from in here though. Just start as a 3 snake? Yeah. Dude, I made my snake look more like Blinka.
Oh.
Yeah. And I made it harder to double back on yourself. Or impossible, actually. So if you go, like, if you're moving left and you push right, you don't lose anymore. Yeah. Found this one on Google just now. And they make you lose if you run into the wall, which I think is kind of punishing. It's like a, that's like a Tim mechanic that just makes it harder. Yeah. I couldn't remember. We're heading out as well. It's been very nice chatting with you. Keep up the good work. Yeah, awesome. Thank you again, by the way. I really, really, truly appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks for the offer for the license. All right, we did make it grow a little bit. I will update that once more. I'll cut off the stream for now. Ooh, we shouldn't put it inside of here, though. You shouldn't have to do that if you don't want to. We'll put it in our version. We could just... This should do the same thing. Yeah. Okay. Did that one more thing. So here... Only change, I think. All right. I will probably be back sometime tomorrow on the stream, but I don't know exactly when. But you can follow me on Twitch if you want a notification when I do. Otherwise, the next time I'll be back for sure scheduled is Friday for the deep dive on the Adafruit channel. So thank you to everybody who watched. Thank you again to JetBrains. Appreciate all of you, and I will catch you next time.